Hey everyone, we are the AstroTwins. It's the week of February 17th to 23rd. Tally here in Seattle.
And Ophi in New York, we're doing this one together.
My God, Sunday. Is it Sunday yet? Not that I want to rush through the days, but it's the
I do.
final week. Oh, you do. Yeah, it's that
This
final
week.
this
Yeah.
week 'cause it's yeah, well, two big things happening. Actually, is it Saturday yet? Because our Become Your Own Astrologer course starts then, but on Sunday, Mars officially ends this agonizing freaking retrograde that began back on December 6th and has just really stretched on and created so much havoc for the end of last year, the beginning of this year. We've got Pisces season starting on Wednesday. Let's get into it. This
Yeah.
Mars retrograde. Let's just do a little let's just do a little armchair quarterbacking on it, shall we? I mean, it's almost over, but
Well, so Mars began its retrograde in Leo from December 6th to January 6th. And then, interestingly, on the J6 anniversary, it backed into Cancer, which happens to be the same sign as the United States of America. Has a July 4th birthday, which makes this country a Cancer ruled nation. And having Mars, the planet of aggression and war,
combat,
conflict.
assertion,
Yeah.
bloviating, kind of bravado sometimes too, yeah.
Yep, all that's bad enough, but having it retrograde in Cancer since January 6th has pretty much explained what the first couple months of 2025 have been about. A lot of bravado and a lot of attacks on ourselves. So think of Mars as a warrior, but when it's retrograde, it turns inward. And the attacks have been turned inward. If they've seemed utterly senseless, because they are, spearheaded, might I add, by a double Cancer. Elon Musk is a Cancer with a Cancer rising.
He's the
Um,
Mars retrograde monster this time around,
He
absolutely.
is the poster monster for this transit, absolutely. So, look at how America, with Mars retrograde in its sign, is attacking itself in very Cancerian realms, from schools to women to families, all these services that are providing aid and anything that's Cancerian, creative, empathic, compassionate, all of those things, just that, democracy is supposed to protect, because Cancer is about protection, and so is Leo, have been under attack. So it's unfortunately on brand for the transit, but terrible, terrible.
I'm thinking about the save act. Save kind of being one of those Cancerian words. Let me save you. Let me help you. But what it really is this not so sneaky, not so slick Project 2025 uh bill that's trying. I think it's already passed the House, but that doesn't mean it's going to go anywhere in the Senate, but still, like, they want to have a birth certificate that matches their ID in order to vote. So it's basically how Mars and Cancer, let's suppress women voters in the United States, because if you're a married woman and you've changed your last name, your birth certificate is not going to match your ID. So what are you supposed to do? Just not vote? Like, you're supposed to
So
let.
counterintuitive to, like, I mean, you would think that many of the people that do change their last names would be the trad wives that would vote in the same direction as their likely to be
Well,
male
they are
partner.
kind of the women who are behind it are like, I heard one household, one vote. My husband votes for us, which is,
Oh,
oh,
gross.
I know. Isn't that gross? I
What
know.
is go Wake up, America. I mean, so this is, of course, we're also now 3 months into Pluto and Aquarius too. We're still in the early stages. Remember, Pluto is the kidnapper of the solar system. Literally kidnapped Persephone, the maiden, and pulled her
Drag
down
her
to
underground.
Hades. Yeah, her mother had to come and fight for her and only got her back for half of the year. So, half the year is winter and half the year Demeter, the earth and nature mother goddess gets to have when Persephone is above ground, we get to have the fruits and the harvest. Well, so Pluto in Aquarius has kidnapped the Aquarian ideals of democracy. We've talked about this on a few of our podcasts already, but we're just watching it, and with blended with Mars retrograde in Cancer, the United
A
States is a
lot.
Cancer with an Aquarius moon too. So two key
Oh.
signs are having major, major shifts too. We're also in the year of the wood snake, and it's a whole new landscape. It's not new, but just the way it's playing out is but I think we're getting the playbook now. I mean, we had the North Node moving into Pisces, which is an artistic resistance as well on January 11th. So it's felt like this dual. I feel like the Super Bowl is a metaphor. It's like felt like this
Mm.
extended Pisces season, but also an extended Mars retrograde, hell at the same time. So
Well, I mean, it has been Mars. So the Mars retrograde began in Leo back on December 6th. And 2 days before, we had Luigi Mangione um, murdering just in broad daylight the CEO of just
United Healthcare.
United Healthcare. Thank you. I know there's been so much happening in the news. I can't even remember anymore. Doesn't that seem like 20,000 years ago?
I
Well,
know.
that was, oftentimes when Mars does go retrograde, there's a notable act of violence. The Pulse nightclub shootings happened right at the beginning of a Mars retrograde some years ago, and all the police cracking down on Black Lives Matter movements happened when Mars went retrograde in Aries in 2020. So there's often a huge conflict, but one that has like a very socially has ripples through society, and so Mars retrograde in Leo, there was this fight the power, fight the wealthy. Leo can sometimes be associated with the kings and queens or the people who hold, that the greater wealth in our society. So, that was that. And then we went into I'm thinking about Mars in Cancer also, Mars retrograde in Cancer. How many homes were destroyed and how many people had to return to see their homes destroyed, from the LA fires to people in Gaza and the Israeli hostages who were released. Like there's a lot of just sadness and agony around those returns home, or even just how do we even align culturally with, who do we consider family, or how do we even justify things that happen within our cultures and our society. So there's just a lot to unpack, but one of the things that I do look forward to is the fact that Mars will remain in Cancer in direct motion until April 18th. So that means we have 2 solid months to really dig in and kind of turn the tide. I heard that Elon Musk is getting audited.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of lawsuits that are slowing down and stopping some of the insanity. His motto is move fast and break things, which is basically the opposite of very demure, very mindful. But I
Hmm.
think he's broken enough that's very Mars retrograde in Cancer. Move fast, break things. Mars direct
Well,
can
the
still
retrograde though is like, yeah, and pay the price for it when Mars goes direct.
Yeah, let's see let's hope so. Let's hope some checks and balances come in. We have faith in that, especially with Pisces season creeping in on Wednesday. And Ophi, and we were talking earlier about the fact that Neptune and the North Node are conjunct right now.
Yeah, they're 1 degree apart. So I think it's a saving grace. Like if you have been noticing in your own personal life a call to kind of slow down, be more mindful, get into spiritual things. Like all these people I know are journaling or doing a course in miracles or getting back to spiritual practices, yoga, meditation, breath work that they haven't in a long time, or just stepping away from the screens, but like even in a way of like breaking an addictive pattern. I've noticed that. And that is really the influence of the North Node in Pisces that began this January 11th. It's going until next July. And so with Neptune, which is the ruler of Pisces, and the North Node, our collective destiny together in Pisces. That's art, healing, resistance, spirituality. That is the amazing way that people are organizing, are fighting back, but in a fighting back with art,
Or even
fighting back.
transcending in some ways. On January 11th, we left behind the North Node in Aries. 18 months of that since July 17th, 2023. It was like war, 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 war. It was like it's just been nonstop everywhere. Um, and now that the North Node is in Pisces, this and it's slowly creeping in, especially with Neptune ending this tour of Pisces. It's like this compassion. I can't like, everyone I know is talking about the telepathy tapes, and shout
Oh,
out to
yeah.
Jess McEwen from Spirit Baby Medium for turning me on to that because it is if you have not listened to this, you guys, you have got to tune in. The telepathy tapes. Is it on YouTube? I've been listening to the podcast. Kai Dickens, who's a journalist and researcher, and she actually tracks, it's documentary style, this phenomenon that has not been spoken about widely. It's been gate kept, but nonverbal autistic kids having the ability to read their parents' thoughts and be able and they do all this test with the scientists, all these tests, and telepathically communicate with each other as well. Of course, there's all these people trying to debunk, as people will, but um, it's just so fascinating. It feels incredibly affirming to those of us who know that we are tapped into the collective consciousness, which is at the heart of the research. Is like they're not like just reading one person's minds. We're all kind of having these singular connected thoughts without realizing. And I won't spoil it for you, but I feel like this is blowing something open. It's getting super popular. People are listening to it more and more. It's just like blowing open that realization. And I think as people like Trump and Musk and all these billionaires try to control us in the 3D world, they're literally sending us into a playground that they don't understand of the 5D world. Maybe they do on some level,
Well,
but
let's talk about, like, I mean, I have been having so many more, like, messages. For example,
dreams, strong dreams.
dreams have been crazy. Dolores Cannon has re-entered my mental chat. She was an amazing hypnotherapist who channeled books and books of messages. One of her books, The Three Waves of Volunteers, talks about the last time Uranus was in Gemini. So that's coming again.
Yeah,
July
July
7th to
7th.
November 7th of this
Yep.
year, and then 2026 to 2033. So she talks about what happened to humanity when in 1945 when we dropped the atomic bomb and created so much karma for the world that three different waves of other beings had to come in and incarnate. Whether you believe that or not, that is the kind of fodder that Neptune conjunct the North Node in Pisces and uh, Pisces season. Don't be surprised if you get some nudges. Seth Speaks is another one, like starting to listen. I feel like spirituality is also going to be a tool of resistance too, because that is not the playground that the people who are trying to dismantle democracy, they are doing the opposite of what of spirituality. They're not tapping into that power source at all. They're
It's
tapping
just
into
money, 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 money for
yeah,
them.
and money is like cheap fuel. Money is it gives you power, but it's like blowing out a light bulb. So I think that's why we're already seeing the playbook. Like, yes, we all got thrown off and confused and disoriented by the sudden move fast and break things, but the pattern is showing itself now. We're seeing, oh, that's the playbook.
Like you were saying earlier about the arts, like, we have to talk about Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl. Just what he did was, like, he is my earth angel hero right now. How many people were like, it wasn't even on their radar and have probably spent the last week decoding messages, finding out he has a daytime Emmy, a Pulitzer Prize, that he's won, what, 22
5 Grammys, yeah.
Grammys? No, 22, I
20 oh,
think.
wow, okay.
Yeah,
5 this year only, right?
yeah, or
Yeah.
something, yeah, only as
Only, right.
I know. I mean, he's just, an incredible, incredible writer and lyricist. I mean, I love Gloria, any writers out there on his, GNX album. He writes this ode to this woman who's been with him, and then you realize at the end that he's writing to his pen, that and I was like, "This is my life as a writer, controlled by the words that flow through."
He is becoming the hero of English teachers. I've been seeing all these TikToks of English teachers glorifying his lyrics and his
So
style and
cool.
structure. I love it.
But what
So
he did was so effing Pluto and Aquarius, like, and he just went into, like, the most corporate, good old boy NFL, like, world, him and Jay-Z. So Jay-Z picks the musical acts. I didn't know that until this year for the Super Bowls, and he picked Kendrick Lamar, and I just they made a statement about how America has treated Blacks, the diaspora, since the very beginning, and the game that Black Americans are still stuck in. And it was just so rich with history. You can't crush art, soul, spirit. You can't create that. You can't make yourself the head of the Kennedy Center as Trump has. We are going to find spaces as women, LGBTQ, BIPOC communities, as we always have, um, that don't rely on that and that can't be seen or wouldn't even be recognized by the powers that be. But when somebody actually comes into the space of the powers that be and fearlessly creates art that, you know, isn't for them on their platform, it's like the ultimate act of resistance. That's my he's a Gemini, Kendrick Lamar, just like Trump. So,
mhm.
and Jupiter being in Gemini right now is definitely working in their favor, I would say. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you what you
Well,
think
let's
about
talk about also the fact that the South Node is in Virgo. So we have the North Node in Pisces, our collective destiny is being pulled toward art and spirituality. But the lower vibration, lower register that we need to shed karma from is in the realm of Virgo. Don't get all freaked out if you are a Virgo, because I know nothing will spin a Virgo out more. What does that mean? Am I bad? We're not going to give you the good girl,
that.
bad girl
My life
complex.
gonna fall apart?
You already
No.
have that enough. We want you to stop doing that to yourselves, Virgos. But I will say the Virgo kind of Virgo is facts and data, and a lot of that is being obscured. We're not even talking about alternative facts here. Interestingly, that horrific White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, however she says her name, she's a Virgo.
Virgo's the administrative realm and
Service workers, administrative workers,
military.
journalists, yeah, all those areas that are being under attack, like US aid, anything that's helping and serving, is getting attacked under the Virgo South node, interestingly, but horrifically.
But
So
it's a karmic lesson with the South Node. The South Node wants us to look and see. So it's gonna glare the nodes will really put the things that we need to evolve under this enhanced spotlight so that we can see it, and that's happening, and I think it's with Pisces season beginning this Wednesday, February 18th, and going till March 20th when we have the equinox, we're gonna see an even more amplified possibility of how spirituality and our dreams and our collective consciousness, our connection in the non-material world is gonna come through. That's why we named this year the year of the divine pendulum. There's been lots of pendulums swinging, but the divine part is starting to already settle in. I think sometimes when everything on the ground is so crazy, we turn to spirituality. And one thing we have to be careful of is not to use that as an escape. That's a pitfall of Pisces, where it's like, I'm just going to shut out the news. I'm not going to deal. I'm going to drown it. We have to pay attention. We have to stay aware. We don't, sure, we need to calm our nervous systems, Virgo, with our subconscious minds, get some Jedi mind control. That's learning to use breath and meditation and mindfulness while also staying aware. That is the true flex of this nodal passage.
And
Um,
being supported too, like Pluto and
True.
Aquarius wants us to stay in community because facing some of that stuff alone, I have a friend, she's a brave Aries, hey Bronwyn, who was saying how she's been listening to conservative algorithm media just to hear what she considers her opposition to be saying, and she said, I was like, "That is so brave because my nervous system cannot handle that." And she was just saying like, "Yes, I wanna kill," but I'm like, she's like, "I wanna understand so I can be prepared." And that is a dilemma for many people because most of the people who are listening to this probably would be empathic and highly sensitive people. So it does create a lot of inner turbulence and trauma, re-traumatizing. So how do we deal? And that's going to be probably a Pisces season quest. One thing that bubbled to the surface for me that was fascinating was the science fiction writer Octavia Butler. She's a
Yeah.
Black woman, a Cancer, and she wrote one of her books I've been listening to, The Parable of the Sower, where she wrote it, I think, in the 90s. She died in, I believe, 2006. And she wrote about 2024 and 2025, and so it'll be like this girl's journal. She'll be like, March 15th, 2025 will be the end, and
Wow.
a a president, Donner, has been elected, and apparently his slogan is "Make America Great Again." I mean, it's so like,
Wow.
what? I think it got covered in Donald Trump's first term, but it hasn't really I haven't seen it surface again. I had
Yeah, she
forgotten
wrote it
about
in
it.
1993, yeah.
Yeah, 1993, and it's so Nostradamus crazy. So, today I sound like I have been drinking the Pisces punch bowl, drinking from the Pisces punch bowl because I have been, I guess. Like, I have been dipping back into everything from Kabbalah to Dolores Cannon to this sci-fi, which is very Aquarius, Pluto and Aquarius. I was never a big sci-fi person, but I'm like it makes it a little bit easier to hear through a story that someone has written an ending to already. Um,
Well, the pendulum is, the more it's like a swing, the as it gains momentum, if it goes one way, if you pull back a swing and then you let it go, it can go farther this way, and I think that that is really what's happening now. Definitely felt kinda numb or, like, not able to access wider ranges since the pandemic. I think it's been this real trauma from that, just like this shutdown, but this is igniting
yeah.
something else, like a deeper quest because this it doesn't make sense. Why is this happening? Well, we have to seek things beyond just the material. But we also, I think Virgo South Node is reminding us to also remember that there are processes in place. Like one of the gifts that we can take away from the last South Node of the well, the South Node was in Libra, now it's out of there, is that the judicial system still works to a lot of degrees here in this country. So a lot of lawsuits are being filed against some of these executive orders, challenging them. And there's reason to still feel that there is some kind of a net, but these are intense and unmooring times for us in the good old USA.
Well, one of the things I always say is that Pluto keeps receipts. So at the beginning of a Pluto era, you'll see people behaving badly. With Pluto in Aquarius, which is about social justice, all of a sudden, all these people are emboldened to be racist, sexist, transphobic, homophobic openly. All of a sudden, they think they got a hall pass to do that. What they don't know is that that's being written on their karmic record and receipts are being kept. I mean, if you think about when Diddy and Jeffrey Epstein were having their parties, for example, that was during Pluto and Scorpio and Pluto and Sag. And they probably never thought anyone would keep receipts from that too, and it all came out later, for example. So all the people that are being openly hateful toward their fellow humans now because they're getting some gleeful rise out of it, like you can't stop me, or they're emboldened by watching Elon Musk tell them it's okay and give them sort of social permission to be hateful and cruel. Well, that's going to come back around. That's going to resurface.
Seats are not, yeah, and also for companies too that just got on
Oh,
the
for
Trump train
sure.
and decided to just
Disney now, Disney, which is like
Disney?
basically, yeah, I just saw the
Oh,
Disney,
Lord.
somebody leaked their internal corporate, like, "We'll be making changes that align with our new business practices and corporate values." So, like, those are your company values, huh? Okay. Well, biting the hand that feeds you is it's gonna go badly. That is Mars in Cancer retrograde.
Yeah.
Attacking the family within, attacking your own homeland, tariffs that are gonna hurt the p I mean, like, it's all the senseless, idiotic ideas. I'm feeling very blunt today. You're gonna get the Sagittarian from Detroit brew. So, attacking your own family, weakening your own home, just I mean, it just makes no sense, attacking your friends and family. So
Well, it
that's
does make sense if you're the abusive, dominating narcissist, which is Mars retrograde, right? Like,
yeah.
get attack the home, get everyone fighting, and then you wrest control and you start doing your dirty deeds like Elon Musk. He almost got what, like a $400 million contract to have armored Tesla cyber trucks for
Oh.
government officials, but that got checked and stopped, but like, let's get everybody fighting. So when Mars goes direct on Sunday, we may be able to channel some of the rage into action on the ground. And women, I think, are going to definitely be uniting again more after in the spring. And
So ready for that month of healing that Pisces season can usher in, and just whew, it has been Capricorn and Aquarius season have been a lot. So let's talk about what's happening this Saturday too on
absolutely
February 22nd.
in
In
our
our
own home.
home, there will
Yeah.
be no attacks and only giving you some amazing superpowers and tools. So this Saturday, February 22nd, is the kickoff of our Become Your Own Astrologer Mastermind. We decided actually to lengthen it. It's an 8-week core curriculum, but we are making it a year-long mastermind, so everyone who joins will get to stay with us for a whole year of additional trainings and practicing and coaching and mentorship, because we really recognize that with what's happening in these dysregulating times, that people really want to invest in support and a long-standing community, and that we need, we're dealing with a lot, we're processing a lot. So taking on learning astrology, which will become a superpower, and I can't recommend it enough, but you're going to need a little spaciousness. You're going to need just at least to feel like, all right, I've got all year to learn this. We will definitely be teaching it to you a lot faster than that, but if you have always wanted to learn how to read birth charts, planet signs, houses, aspects, predictive astrology, we're teaching it all in Become Your Own Astrologer. You will master the art of reading charts. We have 2 levels for the core curriculum. You can do our foundations level, and you can stay on for an additional 8 weeks of more advanced for relationship charts. That's our oracles level. Um, Transit charts for timing and predictions, astrocartography, returns, so many
You
different progress
You
charts.
deserve it all, and we have it. We already have a great student group that has formed. So excited. I know some of you are listening who are already in. So come on, this is going to be so much fun. If you're on the fence about it, jump in. This is your last week to do it. We close the doors on Friday. We start Saturday morning. And this is our only time doing it this year. I don't even know if we'll do it again next year in the same form, but this is what it
Mhm.
is this year. So 8 weeks of really digging in and learning your chart. Everything's recorded in the student hub. So if you can't make the times, that's okay. You can go back. We have a midweek practice lab. So that's February 22nd until April 26th. And then monthly, May to December. We're going to do mini lessons and just go back and review. So you really get this. You get a chance to practice all the mind blowing discoveries that you'll get. It's designed for people of all levels. We had people who are already practicing astrology come in and they found it really helpful because our way of explaining planets and signs and houses and astrology help them with working with their own clients too, or help them to see interpretation in a different way. You can never get enough of, being in an astro huddle. So that begins, go to astrostyle.com/BYOA, astrostyle.com/BYOA. That's short for Become Your Own Astrologer. You'll find everything there, pricing, dates, the syllabus. And we have monthly payments for anyone who wants to break it up, or you can save by paying in full for it. So everything's at that link. We'll drop it in the show notes too. But yeah, look, this week is going to be another one that's going to require some wave riding for sure. But the shift of Pisces season on Wednesday, I think, is just so going to activate that divine, compassionate energy that we're all already starting to feel filter in.
No denying humanity is definitely in some strange dimensional ascendance battle right now. It's like I feel it. I'm just finding myself not even able to just do as much as I am just I gotta stop and listen. I gotta stop and process. That's why Become Your Own Astrologer is a year long. It's like I don't know what it is. It's just my intuition is screaming at me like, gotta do this at a on a different timeline now. Things are not on the same timeline. I think AI is changing that too, the speed of it all. We're we're in the I've been saying for a long time, humanity and humans are in the middle of a giant iOS update, but it feels like, when you get that message, "Tonight, you must plug in your phone, your system software will update tonight." It's like,
I did
it's
get that message today,
you
actually.
did? Wow. Well, it's really starting to feel like, okay, I can't put off this software update anymore. I need a spiritual software update. And I think learning astrology is part of it. I was saying, like, I thought learning astrology was fun last year and just like, "Oh, what a cool thing to know." Now I'm like, "God, I think we all are gonna need to know this as one of our predictive tools, resistance tools, spiritual resistance tools." This is the year of preparation, so we are having to stock our spiritual warehouses, tool belts, whatever you wanna call them. We're getting this sneak preview of the rest of the decade into the 2030s. Your chart is a cosmic code and a roadmap to the revolution ahead. Just it sounds so dystopian and sci-fi and scary. We forget that we've gone through phases like this before with humanity, so we're just ready for our next update, our next upgrade. We're not supposed to know what that is because 'cause we've never updated like this before. So one day, in a couple years, maybe we'll look back and be like, "Remember when?" I mean, if anyone remembers 2012 when it was like, "Oh my god, the Mayan end of days," and I mean, look at how much society has just normalized all this spiritual plant medicine and yoga and meditation. I mean, that was all kind of fringy and weird before that. And now it's just like, if you don't do it, you're fringy and weird. So, whatever we are being prepared for, artificial intelligence will have to be matched by elevated consciousness, non-artificial intelligence, divine intelligence. Our systems are being prepared. This was a live sneak preview demonstration of Pisces season. It's very Alice in Wonderland. There is no bottom when you start to tumble down the rabbit hole. And, I'm definitely, like I said, I've been at the spiritual punch bowl there. Maybe had a few elixirs, but I'm fascinated by the stuff that's coming to me, and I don't know if you're finding that too, but pay attention, especially this week, to what kind of flickers and flits into your consciousness. What, like, Kabbalah or something you haven't done in a while or looked at, just like,
A
what is it
sound
trying
bath, a meditation that you can watch on YouTube, anything like
a
that.
friend who you used to have deep conversations with kind of popping into your mind, reach out, get together, or
An
just
ancestor whose picture you find,
yeah,
who you just start or an object of theirs that you could wear. Maybe you have something from a departed relative or
allowing yourself to be guided into Pisces season and throughout Pisces season. Make that an experiment worth trying. So, with that, we wish you a happy end of Aquarius season and safe entry into Pisces season. Join us for Become Your Own Astrologer if you want to be part of this amazing supportive community for the rest of the year. It starts 2/2/2, February 22nd, this coming Saturday. It's your last chance to sign up and join us. So, and we will see you here next week.
next week. Bye, everyone.